The Prophet ﷺ gave this beautiful example, and I will finish it, Allah willing, that I often say this, but mashallah, you are such a good audience, you just keep inspiring me. He gave an example of 3 people who were traveling from the Bani Israel, from the people of before. And whilst they're traveling, it begins to rain. So they take shelter in a cave. And whilst they're taking shelter in the cave, a rock descends and it covers the mouth of the cave. So they heave, they push to no avail, and then they decide they can't do anything and they lie down waiting for death. And then one of them stands up and he raises his hands to the heavens and he says, "Oh Allah, I had elderly parents, and every night before my parents would go to sleep, I would milk the cattle and I would give the milk to my parents. One day I went far away to attain the fodder. By the time I came back, my parents had gone to sleep. My children wanted the milk, they were hungry, but I did not feel it fit that I give my children milk before my parents. So I told my wife, put the children to sleep. And all night I stood by the bed of my parents with the milk in my hands. And when they woke up, I gave them the milk and they drank it." He said, "Oh Allah, if you know that I did this action solely for your sake, then remove the rock." And the rock moves, but not enough for them to come out. Then the second one stands up. He said, "Oh Allah, I had a cousin. I was infatuated by my cousin. There was no woman that I loved more than my cousin. Many times I made a move on her, and every time she turned me down. One day she came to me, she was in desperate need of money. And she said to me, 'Give me some money, I am in desperate need.' And I said, on one condition, that you allow me to have a relationship with you. And because she was in desperate need of the money, she agreed. And he says, when I came close to her, she said to me, 'Ittaqillah, fear Allah. Do not break the seal unless you are the rightful owner, unless you are the husband.' He said, when she said, 'Ittaqillah, fear Allah,' those words permeated my heart and I moved back because the fear of Allah penetrated my heart. He said, 'Oh Allah, if you know that I done this action solely for your sake, then remove the rock.' And the rock moves, but not enough for them to come out. Then the third one stood up. He said, 'Oh Allah, I hired a group of people, and come evening when it's time for them to take their wages, all of them took their wages besides one. And what I did with his one day wages is that I invested it until there was a valley full of livestock. A valley full of livestock. And many days later he came back and he said, 'Oh servant of Allah, I need that one day wages.' So I took him and I said, 'You see all this belongs to you.' And he said, 'Oh servant of Allah, do not joke with me, for I am in need of this money.' Well, in English we would say, 'You're having a laugh. You're having a laugh. You laugh and you're joking with me.' He said, 'No, that was this one day wages and we invested it for you. And it mushroomed and it grew, and this is all yours.' And the person, he takes all that belonged to him. He said, 'Oh Allah, if you know that I done this action solely for your sake, ikhlas, solely for your sake, then remove the rock.' And the rock moves, and it moves enough for all of them to come out. Now let me ask you a question. If me and you were the fourth person in that cave, by what action in our life that we've done would we ask Allah to remove the rock? What action? And if we haven't done such actions, then we need to become people of actions.
Jazakallah, 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 Jazakallah.